The human's problem. Why the galaxy can't kill us. The galaxy had tried. Over and over, the great empires, the ancient civilizations, the eldritch horrors lurking in the void, all had attempted to rid themselves of the species known as Homo sapiens. It wasn't personal at first. Humanity was simply an anomaly, a wild card that disrupted the delicate balance of the cosmos. Other species followed predictable patterns: expand, reach a limit, stagnate, decline. The natural order. Humans? They didn't stagnate. They adapted. The first mistake. The bioweapon approach. The galactic hegemony believed itself invincible. It had ruled the known galaxy for over 100,000 years, exterminating threats before they could grow. When humanity emerged, the hegemony dismissed them as just another primitive species until it became clear that humans were different. They spread faster than expected, colonizing hostile worlds that no other species could tolerate. They thrived in environments that should have killed them. And worst of all, they didn't just adapt, they evolved. The hegemony's leaders saw the danger. War would be costly, even against such an upstart race. Instead, they turned to science. A bioweapon was the logical solution. The Krell Collective, the galaxy's most advanced bioengineers, were tasked with designing the perfect plague. It would be airborne, highly contagious, and nearly 100% fatal. It would adapt to human immune systems, ensuring that no natural resistance could form. A silent killer, unleashed upon Earth and its colonies. At first, it worked. The disease spread rapidly, cutting down billions. Cities fell silent, hospitals overflowed, and governments collapsed under the weight of the catastrophe. The hegemony watched from orbit, convinced of their victory. Then something happened that had never occurred with any other species. Humanity fought back. Scientists, doctors, and researchers didn't surrender to fear. They worked day and night, exchanging data across dying networks, testing treatments on themselves, and using every resource available. Within months, they had developed early treatments. Within a year, vaccines were being distributed. The Krell had never seen such rapid counterengineering. They had designed the perfect bioweapon, yet the humans had turned it into a puzzle to be solved. And then humanity went further. They didn't just cure the disease. They studied it, modified it, and turned it into a weapon against its creators. A new strain emerged, targeting the Krell themselves. Within 2 years, the plague designed to exterminate humanity was ravaging the hegemony's worlds instead. The first attempt to wipe out humanity had not only failed, it had backfired catastrophically. The hegemony learned a bitter lesson that day. Humanity was not just resilient. They were the apex predators of survival itself. The second mistake: direct warfare. The Dominion of Zale had watched the galactic hegemony fail. The bioweapon meant to exterminate humanity had not only been defeated, but turned against its creators. The hegemony, once the most powerful force in the galaxy, had been brought to its knees. The Zale were different. They were warriors, conquerors, the masters of military supremacy. Where the hegemony had relied on science and subtlety, the Dominion relied on raw power. If humanity could not be wiped out with disease, then fire and steel would do the job. They would burn the humans from the stars. The war began with an overwhelming show of force. Zale war fleets, massive and terrifying, darkened the skies over human colonies. Orbital bombardments rained fire upon cities, reducing them to ash. Planets were razed, populations culled, entire civilizations erased in the blink of an eye. The Dominion had done this before. They knew the cycle: attack hard, break the enemy's will, and move on. But humanity was not like other species. They refused to surrender. Where other civilizations crumbled under bombardment, humans dug in. Where armies were shattered, insurgencies rose. Where cities were turned to rubble, survivors made the ruins their battleground. The Zale soon realized that every act of destruction only hardened their enemy. Every atrocity fueled their hatred. Every fallen city became a rallying cry. The humans did not just fight to survive. They fought to win. And then they did something truly terrifying. They adapted. At first, they fought with what little they had, repurposed civilian ships, guerrilla tactics, stolen enemy weapons. But soon, human engineers started salvaging Zale technology and improving it. They upgraded weapons, hacked enemy systems, and repurposed downed warships into their own growing fleet. What was supposed to be a short, decisive extermination turned into a grinding war of attrition. The Dominion, used to swift victories, found itself bleeding resources. The humans did not stop. They did not slow. They learned. And then, when the time was right, they struck back. Human fleets, once a ragtag collection of stolen vessels, emerged with technology more advanced than the Dominion's own. Coordinated attacks shattered enemy supply lines. Surprise offensives retook lost worlds. The Zale, for the first time in their history, faced something they had never encountered before. An enemy that would not break. An enemy that only grew stronger. The war that was meant to wipe out humanity instead ended with the Dominion in retreat. Their mighty fleets, once so feared, were hunted down. Their empire, once unstoppable, was forced into a desperate defense. And then came the final, chilling realization. The humans had not just survived. They had become the better warriors. The Dominion had made the worst mistake of all. They had taught humanity how to wage war on a galactic scale. And now, the galaxy would never be the same again. The third mistake, psychological warfare. The Vral Imperium had observed the failures of those before them. The galactic hegemony had tried to eliminate humanity with a bioweapon, only for the plague to be turned against them. The Dominion of Zale had waged open war, only to watch in horror as humanity adapted, fought back, and won. The Vral were different. They were not warriors, nor brute conquerors. They were manipulators, masters of deception, subterfuge, and control. Where others had failed through direct action, the Vral would succeed through subtlety. They would not fight humanity with weapons. They would not try to kill them with fire or disease. They would break them from within. The plan. The Vral understood the strength of humanity, unity in the face of adversity. No matter how much they suffered, humans found a way to rally together. If they could shatter that unity, humanity would destroy itself. The plan was simple. They infiltrated human networks, sowing doubt, division, and paranoia. Governments turned against one another. News and information became distorted. No one knew what was real and what was not. They fueled ideological divides, fanned the flames of internal conflicts, and whispered lies into the ears of the powerful. They turned humans against their own leaders, their own allies, even their own families. The war was not fought in space or on battlefields. It was fought in the minds of every human, in the streets of every city, in the trust between neighbors. And at first it worked. The chaos. Humanity fractured. Nations splintered. Alliances crumbled. Trust dissolved. Protests turned to riots. Riots to revolutions. Wars broke out, not against an alien enemy but against themselves. The Vral watched, satisfied. They had done this to 100 species before. No empire could withstand internal collapse. No civilization could survive when it was too divided to fight back. Surely, this would be the end of humanity. Then something changed. The adaptation. Humans did what no species had ever done before. They embraced the chaos. They fought, yes. They struggled. But they learned from it. Their divisions did not weaken them, they hardened them. Conflicts became lessons. Revolutions forged stronger nations. Broken alliances were rebuilt on stronger foundations. Humans evolved, not as a single, unified entity, but as something far more dangerous. A species that thrived in disorder. Where the Vral expected collapse, they found innovation. Where they expected despair, they found resilience. The very chaos that should have destroyed them only made them stronger. And then, humanity turned its attention back to the stars. They had seen the enemy's hand in their suffering. They had learned the tactics, dissected the lies, understood the deception. And they adapted. The Vral, for the first time in their long history, felt fear. Because the humans had taken the art of psychological warfare and made it their own. The reckoning. The first signs were subtle. Strange broadcasts on Vral channels. Conflicting reports. Leaders disappearing without a trace. Trust in the Imperium's government began to falter. Then came the paranoia. The same tactics the Vral had used against humanity were now being turned against them.
Doubt. Fear.
Division. The Imperium began to eat itself from within. Rulers distrusted their advisors. Soldiers questioned their orders. Civil unrest spread like wildfire. And then came the final blow. Human operatives infiltrated the highest levels of the Vral government and released the truth, the Imperium's long history of lies, manipulations, and betrayals. In one swift stroke, the Imperium collapsed. The Vral had thought themselves the masters of the mind. But they had made one fatal error. They had assumed humanity could be broken. Instead, they had taught them how to win without firing a single shot. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The final realization. The galaxy had tried everything. The galactic hegemony had unleashed the deadliest bioweapon ever engineered, expecting humanity to perish in months. Instead, humans not only survived but turned the plague against its creators. The Dominion of Zale had waged total war, raining destruction upon human worlds, believing sheer military might would end the species. But humans did not break. They fought back harder, learned faster, and became better warriors than their enemies. The Vral Imperium, masters of manipulation, had attempted psychological warfare, sowing division and distrust. They expected humanity to collapse under its own chaos. Instead, humans adapted yet again, absorbing the tactics of their enemies and using them to dismantle the Imperium from within. The galaxy had thrown everything it had at humanity, and humanity had won. Every single
time.
The galaxy's fear. The great empires gathered in secret, their leaders meeting in shadowed halls. They whispered their fears to one another, voices hushed and uncertain. Humanity could not be exterminated. They could not be conquered. They could not be broken. Every attempt to destroy them had only made them stronger. Every weapon used against them had been repurposed. Every war had forged them into something more powerful than before. It was not just resilience. It was not just survival. It was something far worse. Humanity thrived on adversity. The realization spread like wildfire through the galactic elite. If humanity continued to grow, to expand, to evolve, there would be no stopping them. One day, the greatest civilizations in the galaxy would fall, not because humans wanted conquest, but because it was simply in their nature to surpass all others. And so, the galaxy faced a final, desperate choice. A new strategy. The old strategies had failed. War had failed. Disease had failed. Subterfuge had failed. But perhaps there was one option left. An emissary was sent to Earth. Not a conqueror, not a spy, but an ambassador. A diplomat with a single message. Let us stand beside you. The galaxy had come to a final realization. If you could not kill humanity, if you could not defeat them, then you had only one choice. You had to join them. Because when the future arrived, shaped by fire and struggle, only one truth remained. Humanity would win. And it was better to be standing beside them than to be in their way.